They said the dirt was disturbed at 3:17 a.m., and that's when the internet decided the story had just begun. A late-night whisper exploded into a wildfire rumor claiming that the FBI had recovered buried proof tied to Meghan Markle, proof allegedly connected to resurfacing Yacht Girl accusations that have haunted conspiracy forums for years. Let's be clear from the very beginning, none of these allegations have been verified by credible authorities. There has been no official confirmation, no documented federal case, no court filing linking Meghan to any criminal wrongdoing in this context. But that didn't stop the machine, because once the phrase FBI recovered started trending alongside her name, it wasn't just gossip anymore, it became a spectacle. The story, if you follow the breadcrumb trail of viral posts, anonymous sources, and dramatic YouTube narrations, goes something like this. A sealed property, a suspicious excavation, an alleged digital storage device buried underground, and supposedly inside it, proof that Meghan had once tried to erase an embarrassing past tied to elite social circles. Again, no verified documentation confirms this, yet the online rumor ecosystem treated it like a blockbuster thriller. The frenzy began when a fringe blog claimed that federal investigators were re-reviewing old Epstein-related digital evidence. Within hours, certain social media accounts were insisting that a name similar to Meghan's appeared in documents. No mainstream outlet confirmed this. No official statement supported it, but the suggestion alone was enough, because when you mix Meghan, Epstein-era conspiracies, and the word buried, you don't get silence. You get chaos. The most viral version of the claim alleged that Meghan had physically buried storage devices years ago in an attempt to hide yacht-era proof. The accusation was dramatic, cinematic even, suggesting midnight activity, secret panic, and a desperate attempt to erase history. There is no verified evidence supporting that narrative, but the storytelling didn't care. Online personalities began describing scenes with eerie precision. A garden behind a California estate, disturbed soil, recovered encrypted files. They spoke as if they had been standing there with night vision cameras. They used words like operation, sting, and recovery mission. Yet when pressed for documentation, nothing concrete surfaced. Still, the rumor didn't die. It evolved. Suddenly, the focus shifted from buried hardware to digital archives. Anonymous accounts claimed that alleged yacht-related images had been mirrored onto offshore servers. No proof was shown, no legal filing cited, but screenshots, blurred, cropped, context-free, began circulating like currency. And that's when the phrase FBI recovered started trending harder. There is no public record of the FBI confirming such a recovery, but in the gossip universe, confirmation is optional. Suspense is mandatory. The more dramatic storytellers painted it like this: a quiet federal sweep, an unexpected discovery, encrypted drives linked to elite party networks, a name buried in metadata. Again, none of this has been verified by official investigative agencies, but the narrative tapped into something powerful: the public's appetite for scandal mixed with secrecy. And suddenly, old yacht girl accusations, long denied and widely criticized as online harassment, resurfaced with fresh fury. The phrase itself, yacht girl, has often been used online as a vague insinuation without evidence, aimed at various public figures over the years. It has never been legally substantiated in Meghan's case. No court has affirmed it. No federal indictment references it. But in viral storytelling, disclaimers are footnotes, and shock is the headline. What truly accelerated the wildfire was an alleged leaked memo posted anonymously claiming that buried materials were recovered and cataloged. The memo had no verified source. It lacked official letterhead. Experts online quickly pointed out formatting inconsistencies, yet millions had already seen it. And that's the part that matters in the modern scandal cycle, because perception moves faster than proof. The more responsible observers try to inject reality, there is no confirmation. No credible outlet has reported this. The allegations remain unverified. But those voices were drowned out by thumbnails screaming about dirt, shovels, and hidden drives. The narrative turned theatrical. Some claimed Meghan had panicked when renewed Epstein file discussions hit headlines this year. Others speculated she feared old yacht party rumors would be attached to her name again. But here's what's verifiable. Multiple prior waves of these accusations have been widely labeled as unproven conspiracy claims, often originating in hostile online communities rather than documented investigations. Still, the newest twist, the idea idea of something literally buried gave the rumor a second life, because burial implies guilt, excavation implies exposure, recovery implies evidence, and none of those implications have been officially confirmed. Yet the online machine doesn't wait for confirmation. It builds cinematic scenes. In one viral retelling, investigators allegedly traced archived yacht photos to a remote storage source. In another, supposed financial trails were discussed, though no banking documents were produced publicly. Each storyteller layered their version thicker than the last. But if you step back from the noise, one truth stands clear. There has been no official FBI press conference linking Meghan Markle to buried criminal evidence. There has been no federal indictment, no court docket, no confirmed recovery report naming her. What we are witnessing instead is the collision of old allegations and new speculation, amplified by digital hysteria. And yet, the tension lingers, because even unverified rumors, when repeated often enough, feel real to many. Meghan has not publicly addressed this specific buried proof claim at the time of this writing. Representatives have previously dismissed similar allegations as defamatory misinformation, but the gossip cycle doesn't need official statements to survive. It feeds on mystery, and the word recovered suggests that the story isn't finished. Some corners of the internet now speculate about upcoming disclosures. Others claim sealed records will soon surface. Again, there is no confirmed documentation supporting these predictions, but the anticipation fuels the spectacle. Is this the beginning of a major exposure, or another chapter in a long history of viral allegations that never materialize into verified evidence? The answer, for now, remains buried beneath layers of rumor, speculation, and digital drama. And until something official emerges, that's all it is. Rumor, whisper, speculation. But in the age of scandal storytelling, sometimes that's enough to set the world on fire. And just when the noise should have faded, it grew louder. Because the internet doesn't like unanswered questions, it likes escalation. Within days of the buried proof narrative exploding, self-proclaimed insiders began hinting that federal cataloging logs were being quietly reviewed. No documents were produced. No official spokesperson confirmed anything. But the language used in these viral clips was deliberate, technical enough to sound legitimate, vague enough to avoid being pinned down. And once technical jargon enters gossip territory, people assume authenticity. Metadata, chain of custody, digital extraction reports, forensic imaging, words that sound official, words that feel heavy. Yet again, there has been no verified public confirmation that any such materials exist in connection to Meghan Markle. But speculation evolved beyond the physical burial story. Now, the whispers claim the alleged material wasn't just buried in soil, it was buried in silence, buried in sealed NDAs, buried in strategic PR cycles, buried under distraction headlines. That's how rumors survive. When physical proof never appears, they pivot to psychological proof. The conspiracy sphere began constructing timelines overlaying unrelated events, claiming that certain interviews, certain departures, certain strategic relocations were damage control. Every move was reinterpreted as concealment, but correlation is not confirmation. Still, the most viral retelling of this saga paints a dramatic sequence, a sudden spike in online traffic around old yacht rumors, anonymous claims about sealed archives reopening, a supposed dig site tied to a private estate, an alleged encrypted device recovered and sent for analysis. None of these claims have been validated by credible investigative bodies, yet the more dramatic narrators insisted that something big is coming. That phrase, something big, is gasoline, because when people believe a revelation is imminent, they start connecting dots that may not even belong on the same page. Some accounts began speculating about financial trails, suggesting hush payments, crisis teams, emergency meetings, but again, no verifiable financial documentation has been released supporting these claims. No court filings, no confirmed warrants, no official briefings. What we are watching is narrative inflation. And here's where it gets more interesting. A few digital forensics experts, legitimate ones, weighed in cautiously on live streams. They explain how easy it is to fabricate recovered drive stories without producing actual forensic reports. They pointed out that real federal investigations don't leak in dramatic breadcrumb fashion across social media. But those sober assessments received a fraction of the views compared to the sensational claims, because outrage is louder than restraint. The yacht girl phrase itself re-entered trending status despite years of denials and the absence of documented evidence tying Meghan to criminal misconduct in that context. The term has often been used as a smear shorthand online: broad, vague, inflammatory. And that vagueness makes it powerful. It allows imagination to do the heavy lifting. Meanwhile, reputable outlets remain silent on the supposed buried buried recovery. That silence was interpreted two different ways, by some as proof the story was fake, by others as proof it was being suppressed. Silence becomes a Rorschach test in scandal culture. One anonymous post even claimed that a sealed forensic summary exists but is restricted from public release. Again, no official source has corroborated that claim, but the more layers added, the more cinematic the story became. Imagine it, they say. A garden. Late night panic. Encrypted files placed underground. Years pass. Then suddenly, renewed attention to Epstein documents triggers fear. A quiet tip reaches investigators, and what was buried resurfaces. It's structured like a thriller, but thrillers don't require proof. Reality does, and reality, at least publicly, has not provided confirmation that such events occurred. Still, people ask, why would this rumor resurface now? Some point to renewed global interest in Epstein-related records generally, not tied specifically to Meghan, but in broader discussions. When Epstein conversations trend, adjacent names often get dragged into the storm, whether fairly or not. Others suggest that high-profile public figures remain targets for recycled conspiracy narratives because attention equals engagement, and engagement equals revenue. The algorithm rewards accusation more than clarification. That's why even unverified claims can dominate timelines for days. Another dramatic angle floating online suggests that if any device was recovered, hypothetically, it may not contain what rumor accounts expect. Because in digital forensics, data integrity, timestamps, and provenance matter deeply. You cannot simply present a drive and claim its contents prove guilt without establishing chain of custody. And no such public chain has been documented in this case. But the conspiracy-friendly channels don't dwell on forensic nuance, they dwell on suspense. They frame every development, real or imagined, as countdown. Wait until the files drop, wait until the report surfaces, wait until the indictment. And yet none of those events have occurred. So what are we left with? A viral claim that the FBI recovered buried yacht proof. No verified press statement confirming it. No public docket. No formal charge. No substantiated documentation tying Meghan Markle to criminal conduct related to these allegations. What remains is the echo, and echoes can feel like thunder when repeated enough. The danger in rumor cycles like this isn't just the claim itself, it's the layering effect. Each retelling adds more detail, more certainty, more assumed evidence until the original lack of verification is buried under confidence. Ironically, that's how misinformation works. It buries doubt. But until there is credible confirmation from authoritative investigative bodies, these allegations remain unverified online speculation. That doesn't mean the noise will disappear. If anything, the longer official silence continues, the more storytellers will fill the vacuum with new plot twists. Maybe tomorrow someone will claim federal silence means sealed charges. Maybe next week another anonymous document will surface. Maybe the narrative will shift again, from buried drives to offshore archives to encrypted clouds. Speculation evolves to survive, but facts require documentation, and documentation in this case has not been publicly presented. So where does that leave this story? Balanced on a knife edge between viral fiction and potential future clarity. Until something official emerges, if it ever does, the FBI recovered buried yacht-proof storyline remains a dramatic internet rumor, amplified by controversy, repeated for shock value, and sustained by algorithmic hunger. And in the modern scandal machine, sometimes the rumor is louder than any confirmed reality. Whether this storm fades like so many before it, or whether a verified development eventually reshapes the narrative, remains to be seen. For now, what exists is speculation, not substantiated proof. And in an era addicted to exposure, sometimes the loudest explosions come from empty chambers. Come from empty chambers. Come from empty chambers. Come from empty